It's week 18 and we are on letter R. I've done some swashes in place of serifs on the bottom, and on top I kind of did a mashup of an old style and a slab serif to create something kind of totally different. So I've got my new layer in a monoline brush, and I'm just gonna draw a straight line about 5 blocks down and then draw one more next to it, just like that. And then starting from a little bit down, I am going to draw an arc shape that comes, whoop, my pen skipped. Skipped again. Might need to clean there we go. All right, and I'm gonna try to keep this part of the width about the same as this, and then this about half the thickness. So I'm gonna envision something like that in my head as I draw my arc. So half, full, my pen keeps skipping. Something roughly like that. And then for my serif, I'm gonna come up just a wee bit here, extra little line like that. And then I'm gonna arc this over about like that, and then cap that off. And then, whoop, my opacity, I'm going to draw a straight line down like that, and then just connect it back to my stem. And this one, again, we'll be doing kind of like a template for ourselves and then tracing over it for our final letter. For the bottom, all I did, whoops, I undid that. I'm having issues today. We're just gonna kind of arc it over something like this and then bring that to meet it. There, that's cute. Actually, I think I like that better than my original. And then for the leg of our letter R, you wanna envision it coming diagonally from that corner. And again, we're doing something really playful here. So we're coming up kind of like that and like that. And then let's go ahead and fill it in and see anywhere we might need to make adjustments before we draw our final letter. So I think I want my arc up here to be a little more defined. So I'll just erase a bit out like that. And then I'm gonna have my corners be a little rounded like that. And then that needs to be rounded out just a wee bit. And maybe I want that to curl just a tiny bit more. And then up here, I feel like this needs to be more of a rounded shape versus an oval. So I'm gonna come out kind of like that, and maybe a little on the top as well. See how that looks. All right, I like that shape better, but now this is way too thick. So I'll just delete a little out. And again, we're not trying to be perfect because we're just doing our template for our final letter. And then let's do our little dot trick from a few weeks ago. I've got a new layer. I'm gonna draw my circle, fill it in. And so I've got that thickness there. That one maybe needs to come out just a tiny bit more, just a teensy tiny bit. So I will fill that up a tiny bit. And I might make this a little fuller too, just to make it really chunky and fun. All right, I think that's pretty good. We'll draw our final letter and then we can make our tweaks on that. So I'm going to reduce my opacity, and I think I have the wrong color green. I think I used the lighter green. Let's do color selection. So I'll tap my little box there and bring that over. I'm on a new layer, so now I can trace out my final letter. And as I've mentioned in the past, I do like to start with my straight lines and then kind of draw in my arcs and other shapes. And by tracing our original letter, that just helps us kind of further refine the letter by drawing it multiple times. You could just keep editing your original letter, but a lot of times this will give you a better end result. And you're getting extra practice, which is always good. And I think I'll round these since this is rounded. I'll make sure those are a little rounded. Use my eraser tool to round them a bit. And then I'll draw my arc shapes here. And I think for this one, I'll draw like half, and then I'll draw the other half. There. You can try letting Procreate make the shape for you and see how it works. That one worked pretty well. For this one, again, I'm going to do part of the letter and then come back and finish it. I can already tell that I'm going to want this to be a little more bumped out there. All right, now I'll go ahead and fill it in. And I'll delete out my template layer. And that looks pretty good, actually. I do have a few little spots that need cleaned up. Maybe I'll make that arc a little cleaner. Got a little white showing there. Oop. And then just smooth out the last few lines, and maybe right here, do one more smooth to make sure that's rounded. All right, and then this to me looks a little thicker than this optically, so I'm just going to make that thicker because then it matches that element as well. And then just clean up the line a wee bit with my eraser tool. All right, so there is our letter R. I will copy and paste it into our template, shrink it down to fit, and I'm gonna put it on an angle a little bit, like that. Maybe I'll move them up a little. And if you need to, tap your Q over just a little, and that looks pretty good. I do think now that this is over here that maybe, and maybe it's just because the template is showing through, so if I turn that off, nope, still. All right, so I think I need to thicken the leg of my R just a little bit. There we go. All right, turn my template layer back on. I'll see you next week for letter S, which is one of the more challenging letters to draw, but there are a few little tricks that can help you get it down. So I will see you for that letter next week.